him the Swahili one.
Oh, you believe it is working or it's working?
Hello, 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 hello. Final test. None. Interpreters, from wherever you are, can you follow? Yes, now as I speak, I want au hamsikii. They can deliver. They can.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Please stand for the national anthems. Thank you. You may be seated. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, one more time, good afternoon. Oh, wow, there is nobody in the room. I'm going to try that one more time. Ama nijaribu kwa Kiswahili. Nijaribu tena. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Bonjour à tous. Bonjour. Thank you so much. My name is Larry Meadow, and with all of you guiding you through this afternoon, the Presidential Summit with all of you guiding you through this afternoon, the Presidential Summit Forum 2023. The big question is how we as Africa can feed ourselves, and we're so honored to have in our midst our leaders. You'll be hearing from them about what they're doing in their respective countries. We'll be sharing some high-level dialogues, and they're here early to listen to you as well, to hear your perspectives, so that this can be a two-way dialogue. I'm excited to get that kick-started right away, because we have a busy, packed afternoon hearing from some of the best practices from across the continent and across the world. I'm excited that we're here in Dar es Salaam, one of Africa's greatest cities. There are no Tanzanians in the room. There are no East Africans in the room. Hang on, wait. Ngoja tafadhali. I am so excited that we are here in Dar es Salaam, one of Africa's greatest cities. Such a great audience, completely unprompted, just spontaneous. I love it. It is now my pleasure to kick things off by inviting to the stage for their opening remarks Dr. Agnes Kalibata, President of AGRA, and His Excellency Haile Mariam Desalegn, former Prime Minister of Ethiopia and the Chair of the AGRF Partners Group, for their remarks. Please give Dr. Kalibata a big round as she comes up on the stage.
Good afternoon and welcome, Your Excellency. My job is extremely simple. It's to invite my chair to give his remarks. Thank you, Chair.
Your Excellency, United Republic of Tanzania, Your Excellency Macky Sall, Champion for Africa-US Food Security Strategic Partnership Initiative, Your Excellency Dr. William Ruto, Chairperson of the Committee of African Heads of State and Government on Climate Change, Your Excellencies, Heads of State present, Excellencies, former Heads of State and Government, Honorable Ministers present, members of the Diplomatic Corps, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. Today in the continent, second time out of your climate vulnerability, which persists even today. These occurrences have impacted our food systems, but we are thankful that recovery efforts have been made, and this brought about new initiatives. And these initiatives have demonstrated our commitment to recovery. We want to recognize and celebrate these initiatives, as well as consider how much more we can do together. Beyond this recovery initiative, we want to consider practical, sustainable solutions, enhancing food systems in our countries, and how these sustainable solutions backed by innovation and transformational leadership are fit for the purpose and leave no one behind. In view of this, we want to build on these solutions by taking action beyond the sustainable. As a former head of government, I do understand the burden of leadership and the urgency of transforming our food systems. I'm therefore confident that despite the challenge of climate, conflict we see in our continent, and resources constraints, we can and will end extreme the AGRF Partners Group, this year's Food Systems Forum, hosted we have a very good understanding of what we need and how we can work together as stakeholders to recover, regenerate, and act. Tanzania is able to bring more than 5,000 delegates into Dar es Salaam, and I thank the government of Tanzania for this achievement. And out of these 5,000, 3,000 has come out of Tanzania. It's the best AGRF we have ever seen since it is launched. I look forward to drawing insights from your leadership and commitment to action. Excellencies, as I conclude, I reflect on the just concluded African Climate Summit, which demonstrated Africa's resolve to take actions to mitigate and adapt the impact of climate change on our food systems. Thank you for your leadership, President William Ruto, who led us through the summit in an unprecedented manner in the history of climate change discussions. Thank you, Your Excellency, President Ruto. I therefore believe you will reflect that here today and also in the upcoming UN General Assembly and the COP28 in the United Arab Emirates yet to come. On this note, on behalf of the AGRF partners, I welcome you to this presidential session, and I thank you, and God bless you all.
Your Excellency Hemasegenalo, thank you so much. Sikusema kwamba nitazungumza kwa Kiswahili, Kiingereza na Kifaransa. Je parlerai en anglais, Kiswahili et français. And right now, before we go, I'd love for you to turn your attention to the screens and watch this video.
Africa, a vision is taking root. A vision for the Africa we want. A vision of agricultural and food systems transformation that will nourish our continent and propel us towards a brighter future. We see a future where agriculture isn't just a means of survival, but a catalyst for prosperity. It is a future where our farmers are the stewards of sustainable and bountiful harvests. Nutritious food is abundant and accessible to all. We envision a future where innovation and technology empower our farmers, where science and research lead the way, and where we harness the full potential of our rich soil and favorable climates. Africa is a continent of remarkable diversity. Diversity in ecosystems, cultures, and traditions. And we believe this diversity can be our strength in building resilient food systems. The Africa we want places women and youth at the center of agricultural transformation. We empower them with knowledge, skills, and opportunities, knowing they are key drivers of progress. Commit food security for generations to come. Even in our cities, we embrace urban agriculture, creating vibrant green spaces that supply fresh produce to our urban populations. Together, we build resilient communities where cooperation and mutual support are the cornerstones of our food systems. Our governments work hand in hand with international partners, forging alliances to strengthen food security across borders. We unite as one continent with a shared commitment to the Africa we want, a vision of agricultural transformation and food systems that ensure no one goes hungry, no one is left behind. It is a future where every meal is a celebration of our resilience, our culture, and our shared destiny. The Africa we want is within our reach. Together, let's cultivate a future where our agricultural transformation and food systems are the pride of our continent, nourishing our people.
For hosting this, as His Excellency Haile Mariam Desalegn said, this is the best AGRF since they started doing it. Doesn't that deserve a big round of applause? By inviting the Minister for Agriculture in the Republic of Tanzania, Honorable Hussein Mohamed Bashe, to officially welcome us.
Your Excellency, the President of the United Republic of Tanzania, Dr. Samia Suluhu, Dr. Ruto, Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Senegal, Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Burundi, former heads of state, ambassadors, Chairman of AGRA, and former Prime Minister of Ethiopia, CEOs, private sector, farmers, youth of Africa, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Karibuni, Dar es Salaam. Your Excellencies, today the African Food System Forum is taking place after Climate Summit in Nairobi, after Dakar 2 Summit in Senegal. And today, we are meeting before the COP28. The world is discussing about our leaders. You have given out your position and shown the position of Africa, where Africa wants equity in financing the issues of environment, the transformation of the food security and food system. And the ministers of agriculture today, we had our roundtable meeting. And at the end of this summit, we'll give out our declaration to support what you have agreed in Nairobi and give position to what you have agreed in Dakar. Africa, in the next few years, the population will be 2 billion. The world will be 50 billion. We have seen your commitment. We have seen your passion to the transformation of agriculture, demanding reforms on the world and the international financial infrastructure to get equity on financing the transformation in Africa. As Tanzanians, today, at the end of this summit, we pledged funds for youth. And let me report in front of you, the interest was to raise 2 billion shillings to support Tanzanian youth for the block farm. I would like to announce the commitment which was been given today at the evening under the leadership of the President Mwinyi, where World Bank committed 100 million. African Development Bank committed another 100 million US dollar. IFAD committed 60 million US dollar. AGRA committed 40 million US dollar. BMGF and other partners under Africa, under Agricultural Transformation Initiative, they committed to start the transformation master plan for Tanzania for the next 25 years. As a Minister of Agriculture, let me take this opportunity to thank you all, the African leaders, to show leadership and commitment for the second liberation of our continent, to create decent jobs for youth, to request for the equity on the financing. Asanteni sana, karibuni sana. So let me take this opportunity, Mheshimiwa Rais, kukukaribisha ili uweze kuongea na hadhara hii. Karibu sana mama.
Please be seated. Thank you. I'll be addressing the delegates in this hall, but as well I'll be addressing the whole nation and probably the neighboring countries whom they're using Swahili, some parts of the area where they'll be using Swahili. So I'll be using my national language to address this gathering. Is that okay? Waheshimiwa wakuu wa nchi na serikali, na hapa nikitambua uwepo wa Rais Macky Sall wa Senegal, Rais Ndayishimiye wa Jamhuri ya Burundi, Rais William Ruto, kaka yenu, ndugu wangu wa Jamhuri ya Kenya, lakini pia Rais wa Zanzibar yuko hapa, lakini na mimi mwenyewe. Lakini pia nitambue uwepo wa Mheshimiwa Makamu wa Rais wa Jamhuri ya Muungano, serikali wastaafu, na hapa tuna wawili, Mheshimiwa Jakaya Mrisho Kikwete wa Nigeria. Nitambue pia uwepo wa mawaziri wakuu wastaafu, tuna wawili pia. Tuna Halima wa Tanzania. Mawaziri wakuu wastaafu hawa, mmoja ni mwenyekiti wa bodi ya AGRA na Mheshimiwa Mizengo Pinda ni mwenyekiti wa kamati ya Rais inayoleta mabadiliko ya kilimo Tanzania. Lakini najua pia tuko na waheshimiwa mawaziri ndani ya ukumbi huu, waheshimiwa mabalozi na wakilishi wa mashirika ya kimataifa, waheshimiwa au ndugu watendaji waandamizi wa serikali, AGRA na wadau wengine wa maendeleo, wajumbe wa kamati ya maandalizi ya AGRF, wawakilishi wa taasisi mbalimbali za serikali na sekta binafsi za ndani na nje ya nchi, wageni waalikwa, ndugu washiriki mliopo katika ukumbi huu na wanaotufuatilia kwenye vyombo vya habari, mabibi na mabwana, habari za mchana. Juzi Ruto alitufundisha jambo, akasema semeni jambo, tukasema jambo. Lakini the real thing ni habari za mchana. Hawa Kenya hawa. kwenda kusaini mkataba, anasema kuweka kidole mkataba. Inabidi tuwaweke kwenye lessons za Kiswahili. Waheshimiwa, nayo furaha kubwa kuwakaribisheni nyote katika jiji la kibiashara la Dar es Salaam, na kwa wageni wetu waliotoka nje ya Tanzania, karibuni sana katika Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania. Natambua kwamba wengine mlitoka Nairobi sana. Kwa namna ya pekee na muhimu zaidi, na wakaribisheni kwenye mkutano huu adhimu unaotupa fursa kujadili maswali muhimu yanayohusu kwa mwaka 2023. Nitumie fursa hii pia kuwashukuru washiriki wote kwa kukubali mwaliko wetu na kutenga muda kuja kushiriki nasi. Natambua mnayo majukumu kwenye nchi mnazotoka, lakini kwa kutambua umuhimu wa mkutano huu, mmeamua kujumuika nasi ili kwa pamoja tuweze kuamua mustakabali wetu kuhusu masuala yanayotuhusu sisi wote. Asanteni sana. Kwa baadhi ya wageni wetu, uwepo wenu hapa nchini unaweza kuwa ni fursa ya kipekee ya kufurahia uzuri wa Tanzania, ambayo ni miongoni mwa nchi 10 zenye vivutio vingi zaidi vya utalii duniani. Hivyo mkiweza, tengeni muda kidogo kwa ajili ya kutembelea vivutio vyetu, zikiwemo hifadhi za taifa za Serengeti, Ngorongoro, Manyara, Ruaha na nyingine nyingi. Halikadhalika, inachukua dakika 20 tu kwa ndege kuruka kwa hewa kufika visiwani Zanzibar, na kama unataka kufurahia mawimbi ya bahari, basi ni dakika 75 kufika Zanzibar kwa speedboat. Mtafurahia fukwe nzuri, utamaduni pamoja na ukarimu wa Waswahili. Karibuni sana sana Tanzania. Mheshimiwa Marais na ndugu washiriki, napenda kutoa shukrani zangu za dhati kwa Secretariat ya Jukwaa la Mapinduzi ya Kijani Afrika AGRF pamoja na washirika wao kwa kuipatia Tanzania fursa kwa mwenyeji Tanzania kupata fursa hii baada ya ushindani mkubwa. Hii ni mara ya pili kwa Tanzania kuwa mwenyeji wa mkutano huu, ambapo mara ya kwanza mkutano huu ulifanyika mwaka 2012 jijini Arusha, takriban miaka 13 iliyopita. Tunaikumbuka vyema kauli mbiu ya mkutano wa 2012 ulikuwa ni kukuza uwekezaji na ubunifu kwa ukuaji endelevu wa kilimo na usalama wa chakula, yani scaling up investment and innovation for sustainable agricultural growth and security. Mkutano wa kwanza ambao ulifanyika 2012, wakati huo kakaangu Mheshimiwa Jakaya Kikwete akiwa ndio anaendesha sukani ya nchi hii, ulifanyika kwa mafanikio makubwa na ulikuwa chachu kwa Tanzania kuamka tena na kuleta mageuzi katika sekta ya kilimo, tukisaidiwa na nchi mbalimbali na washirika wa maendeleo AGRA akiwa mmoja wapo. Kwa miongo mingi sasa, AGRA imekuwa mstari wa mbele katika kuisaidia Tanzania kutekeleza miradi mbalimbali ikiwemo afya ya udongo SHP, mifumo ya mbegu Afrika PAS na mradi wa mbegu na teknolojia Afrika SSTP. Kupitia misaada mbalimbali kutoka kwa washirika wa AGRA, jumla ya dola za Kimarekani milioni 60 ziliwekezwa katika programu hizi katika awamu ya kwanza 2006 hadi 2016. Na katika awamu ya hivi karibuni 2017 hadi 2021, AGRA wamewekeza zaidi ya dola za Kimarekani milioni 20 kama mpango jumuishi wa kusaidia utekelezaji wa awamu ya pili ya programu ya maendeleo ya sekta ya kilimo SDP2. Mpango huu unajumuisha shughuli za kujenga uwezo kwenye uratibu, sera na kwa ajili ya utekelezaji wa SDP2 chini ya Wizara ya Kilimo na wizara nyingine zinazohusika na sekta hiyo. Vile vile, AGRA imekuwa ikitoa misaada ya kiufundi na kifedha katika kubuni na kuanzisha programu ya viwanda vya kilimo Tanzania. Ilipitishwa na kuzinduliwa rasmi Septemba mwaka 2020. Programu hii imewasaidia wakulima katika kanda maalum za uchumi wa kilimo, yani agroeconomic zones, ambazo ni kaskazini, kusini hadi 2030. AGRA imejipanga kusaidia kuwekeza katika kilimo himilivu, yani resilient agriculture, kupunguza umaskini kwa wakulima wadogo, kuboresha lishe, kukabiliana na athari za mabadiliko ya tabia nchi kwa maana ya climate change adaptation, na kuwezesha wanawake katika ujasiriamali. Na leo hii, kwa kuangalia programu ya mkutano huu na yote ambayo yamekuwa yakiendelea hapa tangu siku ya kwanza ya jukwaa hili, ambapo shughuli zenu zimegawanywa kwa kuzingatia kauli mbiu ya mkutano huu ambayo inasadifu vyema na maudhui ya mkutano huu, yani Recover, Regenerate and Act. Napenda kusema asanteni sana AGRA. Ni imani yangu kwamba mkutano huu unahusu mifumo ya wenu. Tumejidhatiti na tutajitahidi kuhakikisha malengo ya mkutano huu yanafanikiwa. Waheshimiwa viongozi na ndugu washiriki, mashaka yanayoikabili Afrika katika usalama wa chakula yameelezwa kwa uzito wake na wengi waliopata fursa kuzungumza katika mkutano huu ulioanza juzi tarehe 5 mwezi wa 9. Tangu juzi, wataalamu na mawaziri wamekuwa na mijadala hiyo, na asubuhi ya leo kulikuwa na mkutano wa vijana wa Afrika ambao ndio wanaolengwa katika mageuzi ya kilimo. Walipata fursa ya kueleza changamoto wanazokabiliana nazo katika safari ya kujiendeleza kupitia kilimo. Vijana walibainisha ukosefu wa taarifa sahihi, ukosefu wa ardhi, mitaji kwa ajili ya uwekezaji, kuibuka kwa maradhi duniani na athari za mabadiliko ya hali ya hewa ama mabadiliko ya tabia nchi kuwa ni vikwazo vikubwa vinavyosababisha serikali viongozi wa Afrika kutumia wakati huu wa changamoto nyingi duniani kuwa ni fursa kwa kufanya mageuzi ya sera na mifumo ya kilimo katika nchi zao, na kwamba vijana wawezeshwe kuzalisha kuendana na mahitaji ya dunia. Kutokana na tajiri hili lilipaswa litoe suluhisho kwa changamoto za mifumo ya chakula duniani. Tumebarikiwa kuwa na 65% ya ardhi yote inayofaa kwa kilimo duniani. Tumebarikiwa na utajiri wa 60% na maziwa makubwa, na vile vile tumejaliwa madini yanayoweza kutupa fedha za kutosha kuwekeza kwenye kilimo endelevu. Pamoja na yote hayo, Afrika tumebaki kuwa walalamikaji badala ya kutafuta suluhisho kuelekea njia itakayoleta mapinduzi ya uchumi wa kijani. Inakadiriwa kwamba zaidi ya Waafrika milioni 283 wanalala na njaa kila siku. Wengine wanapata utapiamlo na magonjwa yanayohusiana na lishe. Kibaya zaidi, wapo wanaokufa kwa kukosa chakula. Hii ni aibu na hali hii haikubaliki hata kidogo. Tupo hapa pamoja na AGRF na washirika wa maendeleo, sekta binafsi, wasomi na wataalamu kutoka Afrika na duniani kujadili kadhia hiyo, kubadilishana uzoefu kuhusu namna ya kuendeleza minyororo ya thamani ya bidhaa za kilimo na kujadili mipango ya kuimarisha usalama wa chakula na ustawi wa kiuchumi barani Afrika. Ili kuyafikia malengo hayo, sisi kama viongozi wa Afrika hatuna budi kufanya tathmini ya vipaumbele vyetu na kuvinasibisha na mahitaji ya sasa katika muktadha mpana wa kidunia, ili tuweze kuyafikia mageuzi tunayoyataka katika mifumo ya chakula na kuifanya sekta ya kilimo kutufikisha katika Afrika tunayoitaka. Ninatambua tumejiwekea ahadi kadhaa, ikiwemo kuongeza bajeti katika kilimo, kuimarisha ukuaji jumuishi wa sekta ya kilimo na kuhamasisha ushiriki wa sekta binafsi. Tulitoa ahadi hizi ili kutekeleza ajenda ya Umoja wa Afrika ya Comprehensive African Agriculture Development Program ya mwaka 2003. Litimio la Malabo la mwaka 2014. Na mikakati kadhaa ikiwemo: moja, kuendelea kutekeleza programu madhubuti ya maendeleo ya kilimo, yani Comprehensive African Agricultural Development Program, tangu ilipoanzishwa mwaka 2003, pamoja na azimio la Malabo la mwaka 2014 kuhusu kuongeza kasi ya ukuaji wa sekta ya kilimo, yani the 2024 Malabo Declaration on Accelerated Agricultural Growth. Miongozo na maazimio hayo yanaelekeza nchi za Afrika kutenga angalau 10% ya bajeti kwa ajili ya kilimo, kukuza sekta angalau kwa 6% kwa mwaka, na kutoa fursa za ajira kwa vijana angalau 30% katika minyororo ya thamani katika kilimo, na kuongeza biashara ya bidhaa na huduma za kilimo ndani ya bara la Afrika. Pili, tunalotekeleza ni kwa bajeti ya kilimo mara 4 zaidi yalivyokuwa mwaka 2021. Ikilinganishwa, tumeongeza bajeti kutoka dola za Marekani 125 milioni 21 mpaka tunavyoendelea hivi. Vile vile serikali imeanza kutekeleza ajenda ya 1030 au ajenda 1030 inayolenga kuongeza ukuaji wa sekta ya kilimo hadi 10% ifikapo mwaka 2030, ambacho ni kiwango kikubwa ikilinganishwa na 4% karibu 4 ya sasa hivi. Tanzania imejidhatiti kuingia kwenye masoko ya chakula ya kikanda na kimataifa ili kukidhi mahitaji ya chakula katika nchi mbalimbali. Tunaamini Tanzania inayo fursa ya kuwa mzalishaji na msafirishaji mkubwa wa mazao kama mahindi, mchele, mboga na mafuta ya kula katika Jumuiya ya Afrika Mashariki, Jumuiya ya Maendeleo Kusini mwa Afrika na nchi nyingine za Afrika na dunia kwa ujumla. Sasa, ili kuchochea kilimo biashara, nchi yetu inatekeleza miradi ya kurahisisha usafiri na usafirishaji wa bidhaa kupitia nchi kavu, yani roads and railways, kupitia bahari na angani. Vile vile tuna miradi mikubwa ya kuzalisha nishati na kujenga mifumo ya mawasiliano ya haraka baharini, Tanzania Broadband System na 2 Africa System au project, ili kuwezesha kupatikana kwa maendeleo yanayotarajiwa. Jitihada hizi zote zinalenga kuharakisha na kurahisisha biashara kati ya Tanzania na nchi nyingine za Afrika, hususan kupitia ukanda huru wa biashara barani Afrika FCFTA, ambapo tayari tumeanza utekelezaji kwa baadhi ya bidhaa na nchi 7 za Cameroon, Misri, Ghana, Kenya, Mauritius, Rwanda na Tunisia. Tanzania vile vile, ili kurahisisha upatikanaji wa fedha kwa ajili ya kilimo, Benki Kuu ya Tanzania kufikia 9%. Tunaendelea na jitihada za kuwavutia wanawake na vijana kwenye kilimo, ufugaji na uvuvi, na jitihada hizi zinaratibiwa chini ya programu ya Jenga Kesho Iliyo Bora au Building a Better Tomorrow, ambayo imezinduliwa na inatekelezwa maeneo mbalimbali nchini. Jitihada nyingine ni pamoja na utekelezaji wa programu ya viwanda katika kilimo, yani Tanzania Agro-Industrialization Program, ambayo imejikita katika kuongeza thamani ya mazao ya kilimo, kuimarisha miundombinu ya umwagiliaji, utafiti na uzalishaji wa mbegu bora, na kuimarisha mifumo ya masoko. Waheshimiwa viongozi, ndugu washiriki, nimetoa mfano wa Tanzania, lakini na hakika jitihada mbalimbali zinafanyika kote barani Afrika. Jana tulikuwa Kenya, tumesikia Kenya wanachofanya na hatua iliyofikia. Hivyo ni rai yangu kwa washiriki wa maendeleo au washirika wa maendeleo, washirika wa AGRF na sekta binafsi kuziunga mkono serikali za Afrika katika jitihada za kuendeleza sekta ya kilimo. Hatua hizi ni muhimu sana katika kuimarisha mifumo ya chakula na kuhakikisha uendelevu wake. Na katika muktadha huo huo, natoa wito kwa Afrika kuonyesha mshikamano na nchi ambazo sababu mbalimbali ambazo nimezitaja hapo mwanzo katika hotuba hii. Waheshimiwa viongozi na ndugu washiriki, Tanzania ipo tayari kushirikiana na wadau mbalimbali pamoja na washirika wa maendeleo katika kutumia fursa za uwekezaji zinazolenga kuleta mageuzi katika mifumo ya chakula nchini. Ni matumaini yangu kwamba mkutano huu utakuja na mapendekezo yatakayoliwezesha bara letu kuhakikisha uendelevu wa kilimo na mifumo ya chakula, kubuni mikakati kuhusu na lishe miongoni mwa nchi za Afrika, kufungua fursa za kilimo, biashara na fedha kwa ajili ya kusaidia mifumo ya chakula kwenye ngazi za kitaifa na mbinu za kisasa ili kujenga mifumo endelevu ya chakula, hasa katika uzalishaji, kuimarisha biashara kikanda ili kuongeza usalama na uhimilivu wa chakula za nchi za kutoka kwenye mkutano huu, ikiwa na malengo pamoja na mikakati ya kuyafikia malengo tuliyojiwekea. Waheshimiwa viongozi, ndugu washiriki, mabibi na mabwana, sasa nihitimishe na niwatakie kila laheri katika maazimio yenu. Asanteni sana kwa kunisikiliza. Karibuni Tanzania. Waheshimiwa viongozi na ndugu washiriki, katika utambulisho nilimwacha Waziri Mkuu mstaafu wa Benin, Mheshimiwa Zinso. Yuko pamoja nasi hapa. Asante sana.
Let's give a big round of applause to Her Excellency, President wa Kenya. Kiswahili amesema sana, lazima nimtetee rais wangu Ruto, kwa sababu najua sisi wa Kenya na wa Tanzania sisi ni mandugu wa karibu. Wa Kenya tunazungumzia wa Tanzania kwa Kiswahili kibaya, wa Tanzania wanatujibu kwa Kizungu kibaya, tunaendelea, tunasonga mbele kama Injili. Ama namna gani? What I said is that Tanzanians and Kenyans were close friends. That's all, nothing more. Well, there are a few other things there, but this is a family matter. We're going to leave it there in the level of Swahili. We won't get into it. Najua, our foreign ministers, January Makamba and Alfred Mutua, understand. So we will leave it there. They can discuss later among themselves. But I really appreciate that. We apologize that the translation did not work for parts of Her Excellency's speech. It was really inspiring talking about what Tanzania is doing to transform the food systems here. And she talked about the commitments, international commitments, like the Malabo Declaration, and other initiatives that the country is doing here. President Samia Suluhu Hassan said, we should not be complaining as Africans. We have vast water and mineral resources here. 60% of our population are the youth. We have everything we need here to transform our food systems. Do you agree? I didn't hear the right applause for that. I think... And one of the things that Her Excellency talked about, like in the last 2 financial years, her government has quadrupled their agricultural budgetary vote. So from what it was 4 years ago, 2 years ago, it was about $100 million. In the last financial year, it was $400 million, quadrupled the budget going to agriculture in Tanzania. And she also acknowledged the contribution of the youth who were meeting here this morning and what they want to transform the food systems in the continent. And she said that Tanzania is ready to work with stakeholders and other investors to transform the food systems here in the country. Nimekosa ama nimepata, Rais? Asante sana. As Africans, we love music. We are a musical people, and it is now my pleasure to introduce Angel to entertain us. Angel, tafadhali. Ndio yule pale. Tafadhali mkaribishe. Please give a big round of applause to Angel.
Yeah. tupo tayari, tupo tayari, vijana, tupo tayari.
Asante sana, Angel. Thank you so much. I never thought a song about agriculture could bring the house down like that. Did you ever imagine? Umetisha sana. Asante. Another big round of applause for her. That is the most fun song I have ever heard about agriculture. And the youth say they are ready. Congratulations, Angel. Ni malaika kweli kweli. It is now my pleasure to invite to make her framing remarks on setting the vision for the continent, the CEO of the African Development Agency, AUDA-NEPAD. Please welcome to the stage Ms. Nardos Bekele Thomas.
Good afternoon, everybody. I think I was caught by surprise. Your Excellency, my dear sister, President Samia Suluhu Hassan, the United Republic of Tanzania, Your Excellency Macky Sall, President of the Republic of Senegal, Your Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya, Your Excellency General Mwinyi, President of Zanzibar, His Excellency, my brother Haile Mariam Desalegn, former Prime Minister of Ethiopia and Chair of AJRF Partners Group, my dear brother also, the former President of the Republic of Tanzania, my dear brother, Mr. Kikwete. Who did I finish? The honorable ministers present today, my dear sister, who's brought us together, who is the president of AGRA, my predecessor and my dear brother, His Excellency, the former president of Nigeria. I'm so sorry. Well, you know, I'm a Nigerian, so I should pay you respect, partly Nigerian. And all protocols observed. And my sister from the UN. It's just too much to recognize everybody, and you in all your honored to address you, Your Excellencies, on issues of food security, issues that are foremost on our development agenda as continent. Before I delve into the substantive issues, allow me to congratulate His Excellency, Her Excellency, President Samia Suluhu Hassan for hosting us today to what seems to be a very successful summit. Congratulations, my dear sister. As always, the warmth and hospitality of the people of the United Republic of Tanzania is a source of pride and joy for all Africans. I would also like to congratulate His Excellency President William Ruto, who earlier this week hosted a highly successful first ever African Climate Summit in Nairobi. The Nairobi Declaration on Climate Change, agreed by heads of state at the just ended summit, offers a clear continental vision for tackling climate change while also pursuing our development goals. I would also like to congratulate His Excellency, the President of Senegal, His Excellency Macky Sall, for the Food Summit that was held last year in Dakar. Excellencies, distinguished guests, I should say that today, more than ever, there is a resounding message echoing from every corner of Africa, and it is crystal clear. From our leaders, government officials, to our esteemed development partners, from the dynamic private sector to the tireless champions of civil society, and above all, our women, our youth, the heartbeat of our future, our voices unite as one. Africa is a nation rising against all odds. We are rewriting our narrative, one that has too often been overshadowed by the paradox of plenty, where abundance coexisted with deprivation. Today, we stand united, acknowledging that this narrative is changing. Africa is awakening to the realization that we possess not only the resources, but the resilience, the innovation, and indomitable willpower to overcome our challenges. We are and remain the architects of our destiny. Building, ladies and gentlemen, resilient and inclusive food system for our continent is the most pressing challenge of our generation. As we speak, more than 250 million Africans are hungry, with the world still emerging from the devastation of the COVID pandemic and the ongoing Ukraine-Russia war. Hunger and malnutrition on our continent is set to worsen in the coming years. A worsening climate crisis, alarming rates of land degradation, and persistent marginalization of a large majority of smallholder farmers, especially women and youth, are a dangerous cocktail of mutually reinforcing crises that are converging into a perfect storm that would further threaten our food security and livelihoods. Excellencies, I concur with the conveners of the summit on the need for a quantum leap if we are to overcome the challenge of food insecurity on the continent. The current food crisis is a wake-up call for the continent to take immediate action and steps to radically transform our food systems. It is a reminder of the urgent need to accelerate the implementation of the Comprehensive Agricultural Development Program, the CAADP, our continental framework for agricultural transformation and agriculture-led growth strategy, which is, by the way, translated already into regional investment plans, and this has percolated to national investment plans. All this is to achieve ambitious targets on food and nutrition security as outlined in the Malabo Commitment. On the 31st of October this year, we will commemorate the Africa Day for Food and Nutrition Security in Lusaka, Zambia. This day shines a spotlight on nutrition-sensitive agriculture as the basis for producing safe and nutritious food. Nutrition-sensitive agriculture plus nutritionally rich foods and dietary diversity are at the heart of interventions to overcome malnutrition and micronutrient deficiencies. Current efforts to build adaptive capacity of production systems and natural ecosystems are nowhere near what is required to keep up with the pace of climate change. The quantum of both public and private investments required to build system-wide resilience of production systems, livelihoods, and infrastructure is at least tenfold the current levels. Equally critical is our efforts to reverse the current high rate of land degradation, which threatens the sustainability of our food systems. It takes hundreds of years for topsoil to form. We lose 24 billion tons of this fertile topsoil each year due to unsustainable land and soil management practices. Today, more than 75% of the continent's cultivated area is degraded. Restoring the health of degraded lands is critical for overall human development, as land is a vital life support system for livelihoods and ecosystems. Healthy soils provide the foundation to raise the agricultural productivity, increase on-farm biodiversity, and reduce the pressure to expand agriculture into fragile natural ecosystems. There is well-established evidence showing that increased soil health improves water and nutrient use efficiency, leading to profitable farming and resilient production systems. The African Fertilizer and Soil Health Summit, planned for 5 to 6 November 2023, is a result of growing appreciation by African heads of state that our soils are the bedrock of our food systems. Building a resilient and inclusive food system hinges on our ability to reverse the high rates of land degradation and restoring the health of our soils. We expect far-reaching decisions to be taken at the summit to outline a roadmap for restoring the health of our soils. Excellencies, we are working with member states and other partners to adequately support farmers, especially the millions of smallholders who are the backbone of our food production on the continent. These farmers need sustained support to transition to modern and more resilient production systems and to connect better with markets to boost incomes. Equally critical is inclusive value chain development to open up opportunities for women and youth, including for processing and value addition. Innovative financing to cater for the unique circumstances of smallholders and agribusiness innovators, including ensuring access to affordable credit, is a critical condition for success, and we all know it. Excellencies, allow me to conclude by emphasizing that we are redoubling our efforts to drive practice change to transition our food systems towards climate-smart, regenerative practices that balance the need for healthy soils, healthy diets, healthy people, and healthy planet. Our DANEPAD remains unwavering in our commitment to achieve continental goals on food and nutrition security. Working with our partners, we are strengthening our programs with a view to making them more impactful, scalable, and sustainable. We are constantly reviewing our delivery models and theory of change to better define pathways between our interventions and intended outcomes. These improvements are also being cascaded to our member states through technical and advisory support for improved program design, development of business cases, and resource mobilization to support implementation. I would like to thank AGRA for their collaboration and cooperation in really translating these plans into action at all levels, both at regional and also national levels. Finally, I would like to reiterate something. And because our heads of states and governments are here, I would like to appeal that, yes, we have recognized the fact that that food systems, the development of food systems and agricultural transformation is really fundamental for economic, social, and political transformation. It's also a day where we have recognized that we have unfulfilled promises and that there are deficiencies. And here we are committing ourselves to really make sure that we redouble our efforts and correct for the past, but also plan for today and tomorrow. And therefore, foresight planning is important and critical. Two is, in light of the quantum leap, recover. We cannot wallow in crisis. Crisis cannot define us. Building resilient food systems is critical. And here, I guess, we are all together committing to that. The third one is regenerate sustainable agricultural practices, regenerate our soils. And it's very critical and very important that we do that. In order to do that, excellencies, it's very important that we tackle the issue of coordination. There is so much wastage and there's so much leakage. And yet, the resources are finite. And we're running out of time. Need to coordinate, need to have a systems approach for upscaling and scaling up of our interventions. It's very important also that we approach the whole integrated approach, integrated strategic management approach to food systems, because we're talking about systems. It's not the agriculture ministry that would be responding to the challenges. Education, health, agriculture or food systems is about education, it's about health, it's about, it's about infrastructure, it's about IT. So all these need to be handled in a strategic management. Those countries like Ethiopia, Rwanda, Tanzania, name it, and others, to food system and agricultural transformation have succeeded. Let's learn lessons from this. And finally, also, inclusivity is critical and very important. We need the investment in human capital, critical for progress. We need to make sure, like Tanzania has done, and we have been supporting our DANEPA, many countries, in training and bringing skills to youth so that they can own land. Even if they don't own land, we can lease land for them and use it for agricultural production. And therefore, integration of youth is critical and very important. Integration of women and promoting women in agriculture is critical and very important. And acting, we have to implement, we have to act, leveraging on digital solutions. We have got technology on our side. Let's take advantage of it, let's act, let's implement at scale. Finally, I say regional collaboration for food security is becoming important, is the linchpin of success. Our data underlines the potential of regional trade agreements in bolstering food security, implementing the African continental free trade area fully could potentially increase intra-African trade in agricultural products by up to 70%. Let's act collaboratively for a food-secure Africa. Finally, to our development partners, please help us and be with us at all times. It's not a promise, unfulfilled promises, like I said earlier on, has consequences. Please, when we promise, when we pledge, it has to be serious and you have to accompany us. No one is perfect. If there are areas for improvement, we can improve them together. But partnership should be with, full trust and we need really predictability. And therefore, I think with those, I would say thank you very much for having me here and for this intervention. Thank you very much, Excellencies.
Another round of applause for her, please. Thank you. She said we cannot wallow in crisis, and she talked about some of the crisis we're facing. It's now my pleasure to introduce the first of two panels we'll have this afternoon. I have three speakers coming up here to chat real quick. Ms. Melinda Bohannan is the Director General of the Humanitarian and Development at the Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office of the UK. Please join me on stage, Melinda. Also, please give a big round of applause. She came a long way to talk to us. Also joining her on stage is Mr. Roger Voorhuis. He's the President, Global Growth and Opportunity Division at the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and a member of the AGRA Board. And last but not least, Mr. Svein Tor Holzeta, President and CEO of Yara International. I'm going to need to hear a bit more excitement from the room. We have a few more coming up. It's going to be short and sweet, I promise. Very important, so please stay with me. The theme is recover, regenerate, and act. And I think Ms. Bekele Thomas talked about one of those issues we keep talking about, the Ukraine war and how that's affected Africa's food systems, the grain that we depend on from Ukraine. So I'm sure they will be talking about that, as well as highlighting practical solutions and the role of sustainable farming practices on the continent. And finally, on the subject of ACT, they will be outlining actionable strategies for mobilizing investments and required policy and financial reforms, both from the public and the private sectors. The only lady in the group gets to go first. Melinda, please go ahead.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, excellencies, it is an absolute honor to be part of this panel representing, thank you, His Majesty's government and the United Kingdom's partnership with Tanzania. I want to start by recognizing the commitment that we have all heard, that I've heard across this conference, but particularly in this session, and the positivity of the debate. And I will start by saying it is a joy just to listen. I want to start, though, with a focus on recovery and why it matters. Africa's food system transformation has been battling continuous challenge over recent years. As we all know, in the last 3 years alone, the desert locust infestation between 2019 and 22 affecting 23 countries with 20 in Africa, COVID-19 and its economic scarring, the global impact of Russia's invasion of Ukraine on food systems, and those are all in addition to existing conflict, climate change and humanitarian issues that some countries continue to endure. This has had a deep impact across global food.
I apologize, Melinda. Do you mind a little closer so we can hear you?
Sorry, absolutely.
Thank you.
Hope this works. The deep impact across global food, fertilizer and fuel prices and the fragility of the system. I'm afraid in this crisis-prone world, those sort of shocks are going to continue, and at the same time, demands continue to rise with demography, with demographic growth. So this makes recovery and greater resilience absolutely essential because, to use a phrase from our previous speaker, crisis cannot define us. And we all agree that the how involves an interconnected strategy. Food systems are complex. They're very heterogeneous across different countries and crops and value chains. As we know from a recent study by the Rockefeller Foundation from April this year, creating more sustainable food systems, it called for a deeper understanding of these interconnected contexts to crack the silos and join the dots. And joining the dots requires us to think as much outside the sector as within. It means thinking about the macroeconomic, the debt issues, how they've impacted prices, all the way through to the investment in regional crops, fertilizer value chains, the investment in enabling infrastructure and human capital. All of those need to work together in order to get the private sector investment mobilized and at scale. I want to focus on ACT and what it means to act, and I will start simply by saying food systems, not food projects. 4 things that I would like to share that we should be doing more of in order to scale up. Those are regional integration, greater coherence, as outlined powerfully by Madam President, unity of purpose, research and deployment and data infrastructure. Firstly, regional integration. This really does support the scaling up of particular crops along a regional transport corridor, rural roads, storage, processing, aggregation, and so forth, will improve connectivity between smallholder farmers and markets, between surplus and deficit food production areas, and intra-regional and continental trade in raw and processed agriculture staples, fruits and vegetables. The UK is supporting the ECOWAS Rice Observatory with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the African Development Bank, the World Bank, JICA, GIZ, and the Islamic Development Bank to reduce the import dependency of rice into West Africa, which costs the continent $4 billion per annum, and create a regionally competitive price chain. Secondly, driving coherence amongst partners and stakeholders. And I want the United Kingdom to be known as a committed partner to coherence and helping to lead the way. We know there are multiple donor and philanthropic programs across the food systems sector. These all need greater coherence to maximize their impact